in Kush, a place now known as South Sudan, has embarked on a major campaign to eradicate debt in Africa. Queen Sheba is also the Deputy President of the African Union Nations for the World Peace Committee. Queen Sheba joins us now live via Zoom from Johannesburg. Thanks very much indeed for joining us, and welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you so much. It's nice to be here.
All right, let's start with this plan of assisting African countries eliminating their debt. How can we do that?
We can do that because of the work that has been done by the African Sixth Economic Community. The Sixth Economic Community was formed within the territories of Accompong, which is the first African state to be freed during the colonial era. That Accompong has now, it's actually since 2018, formulated a currency which is called the African Kingdom's Lumi. So it's a currency from the Sixth Economic Community of the African diaspora and from a sovereign state. That Lumi at this time is valued about 15.97 US dollars if you're looking in terms of the value that is based on solar energy that can be transported. We have an alliance of companies in Germany and in Europe, banking consortiums in Canada and other countries supporting this currency. And with that, we have started in October to roll out a financial stimulus of 100 US, which is the equivalent of 6.26 Lumi to the African community, and step by step now work towards eliminating the debts of Africa. Because with this pandemic and everything that is happening now, Africa must rise and rise greater and fast.
All right, so how does it work? I mean, you know, how do people get involved? Because I'm imagining that this currency is going to need to be supported from somewhere.
Yes, the currency is supported by solar energy, as I explained before. And as we know, all currencies are fiat currencies. It means there's nothing supporting the fiat currency. The African currency, the Lumi, is the first currency on this planet. And I'm so proud from Africa that is a prime currency with a value. It means you can exchange it back for its value. The people can access that by going to the eco6.com website, and they can apply for the stimulus. The stimulus is meant from October 1st this year, so we already had two rolled out on October 28, November 28, and December 28 of this month. It's meant from everyone from 18 years and over, regardless of ethnicity, every African in Africa and the diaspora, and it is being paid and backed by our Pan-African Bank, Kingdoms Bank, and the Central Bank of Accompong.
What will
they can go to? I'm sorry, they can go to the eco6.com website. So eco/6.com, and you can apply for the stimulus there. We are busy speaking with the African respective governments, the central bank community, and the internal economic community, because if we can have this currency launch in time, it means we will have a currency for the African market that is from Africa, by Africa, and we can, with this currency, repay the debts of Africa immediately and effectively. This is what we have called for.
What do the benefiting countries have to do in return?
What we have to do in return is to now, if we have Africa where the debt has been paid, we have rolled out, we know there's $480 billion that has to be repaid for Africa. We have put the $480 billion there open. Shining, and the gold we have there on our soils, and together with that energy, it is endless. It is now up to us to take the choice and make the choice to make the difference now, and also to have the currency so all of the currencies can float against. And with that, we have a currency that Africans can use inside and outside of Africa. But most important, that we can clear the debts of Africa so the countries can now use their resources to build Africa and work co-equally with the rest of the economic community as Africans, and with pride.
For the currency to have value, it has to be trusted, and people have to have faith in it. Have you already engaged the international community beyond Africa to look at this currency and accept it and its value?
Yes, we had. There's a difference. We are now using fiat currencies. The fiat currency has no underlying value. There's no underlying value in the fiat currency. So if I was to take any currency, any dollar, and I go to the bank and said, I would like to get the value of this currency in my hand, there is no currency value that is coming back. If you take now the Lumi and you said, I would like to get the value in Lumi, we can export to you that energy in the liquid forms that is being done with our corporate partners, which is the biggest energy company that is in Germany. We have also JD Eurocorp Banking Trust in Canada. We have the banking community in some of the banking community in Germany and other countries that are busy with it. We are busy with the African Import and Export Banks. So we have quite a few banks busy, the Central Bank, as well as Akampong, and the banks that we are in discussion with, and central bank level with governments that I cannot as yet disclose because they're still in discussions. But yes, it is already within the international community since October, when I was so happy to wake up to get the first transfer. We are busy working with SwiftFin platform. So you can go and register on your account and the currency can be changed within that platform directly with the central bank. But we are trying to get people, do not exchange it, because you're exchanging something with value for something that does not have value, and it will be changing as the currency of the countries change to digital. We are in the fourth industrial revolution. Therefore, we must be ahead of that as Africa. We did not have the privilege to have the industrialization as most, but we have a currency that will give us the advantage to now step forward and step up as Africa. And we have the opportunity, and especially beautiful, fantastic South Africa, to be now going out this year as the African Union head with something, the capability to see that the African nations have such a powerful currency that we are able to say, let us start the development in this new era with a new slate as Africa. And we have the possibility to stand up and be a greater Africa and see that we do not bow to mendicancy that is coming with this pandemic. The currency is back. It's not a matter of being backed by trust of people. Whether the people trust it or not is irrelevant to the fact that it is backed by solar energy and 4 grains of gold per Lumi. Right now, 1 Lumi is the value of 250 rands. It's not based on whether people agree or not agree. It is not a cryptocurrency. It is a sovereign currency and with a value. So therefore, any currency with a value can be exchanged within the international market.
All right. So just to try and simplify it in my mind and help our viewers, so for example, a reserve bank might have its currency backed with gold bullion. Are we saying that this is backed by energy bars?
The Lumi is backed by energy and the equivalent of that energy in gold.
Right,
so it has a double backing there. It's very important. Even if a currency is backed by gold and you're going to the bank and you said, okay, I have 1 million rands, I would like to get my value of the rands. The system is not created to give you the difference of the gold in exchange for that rands. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
You cannot take a rand and say, okay, I would like to get the gold value of that, because it's not created like that anymore. That has stopped. What we have with the Lumi, if you come and say, okay, we have 1 million of your Lumis, we would like to get the value of that, we can ship the value of for you, the energy stored in the respective tubes. And please do not ask me the technical part, but energy can be transported, and it is transportable, and we can do that. So that is the difference. And the equivalent of that in grains of gold, because Africa is on itself, sitting on lands that is very much triple Fort Knox, if not more, triple zillion Fort Knox on its own. So we can deliver that. That is the difference. It is not to say it's something that we drew up on a board. This is something that has been worked on for a long time by the Minister of Finance, who is also the Crown Prime Minister, His Excellency Chief Simarco III, Timothy McPherson, who is very, very much into the international banking. He's Jamaican, born in Canada, and has been working within the stock market and the banking community and training the governors of central banks over the years in terms of implementing their agendas. So it is well-backed, well-educated, and we have an enormous amount of people from outside that are working with us together on this. What we need is to get the economic community and the African community now backing a currency. Unfortunately, in Africa, we have the tendency not to trust ourselves and the tendency not to trust things that are coming out of Africa, when it is very important to understand this is the African diaspora coming together and putting all on the table to come together as a united Africa. This is the opportunity with this pandemic that we have a currency that can be used and implemented to help the people of Africa and to help our governments of Africa. Because this, what is being faced by Africa and the rest of the world, has not been faced by any before. And we cannot call on the government, you're doing this wrong or that one, or the people, you're doing this wrong or that wrong, until we all come together really and give it a try to make a change. It is not a currency that is based on air. It's a currency that at this moment, it's the only prime currency on this planet, the only one. And we can say that because it is a fact. And I think it is something that Africa should now take ownership and run with it. And with that, we can clear the debt. And we can now see to the financing of the agendas of Africa and leave the resources where they are for this moment whilst we get that done, and working with our international partners, international alliances, to see that we build Africa together.
I mean, this, from listening to you talk, will change the continent fundamentally. It will look completely different, the way that we engage with ourselves and engage with the world, and also the types of industry and trade that we'll be doing in the future if we have this digital currency as our vehicle.
Absolutely, it will change it. It will change it. Africa, the world is now at a point where we are on the eve of a new era, a new time, a new change. If Africa does not take the opportunity as the nations and the mother nations of the nations in the South, of the entirety of humanity, then we have forfeited our right to complain in this new era. That's a fundamental fact. If we are now, at this time of this pandemic, accepting, okay, the world has changed, businesses are closing, all of this, we do not have this, we do not have that, and we sit down, then we are putting Africa on a course that is destructive. We are at a new era. We have the opportunity to build something that is greater than any movie and any Wakanda by taking hold of this currency. And I need South Africa so much to become the pillar of the African continent to bring this forward, because everything is here in Southern Africa and in South Africa to make that difference. We have it, we can change it. We can see to clearing the debts of Africa. We can see to implementing this new currency and see that all of the African currency, digital currencies, are put in place and can float on this, therefore they have a value. Because if I cannot use a rand now, if I was to travel to England or to Philippines or China or whatever part, I cannot use my rand. I cannot use my Caribbean dollars. I cannot use, most Asian countries cannot use their currency. So if you were to see, we have 202 countries in the world, plus we have more, actually 237, if I'm correct. My numbers may be off on that. If we're looking at those countries, there are probably 10 or 15 countries whose currencies can be used outside of their territories. But yet the southern part of this planet is where so much of the value is, and it's the mother cradle of all nations. I do not believe in isolating any nation, because we are the mother of the South. We are here as a Southern Asia, Southern African, Asia, all of these places are family to us. So therefore, if we as this area, as we as the South can make the change and build this continent, we can build something so fundamentally different. And instead of Africa saying, please help us, then we can say, how can we help you? And really help others. Well, and can you imagine the technology? Yeah. We have been having every single Monday, and I've committed every Monday until 2023 to have these summits just to show the communities and the nations, come and see at the summit. This is what we are bringing in. We are not asking you to pay for it. We are asking you to help us roll it out. We are asking you to help us to get the economic community using the Lumi besides the national currency. Because if you cannot use your currency now outside, it means even when the African countries change to digital currency, we still have the same barriers of what the debt that is owed. We still have the limitation of being able to use that anywhere else. It's the same. So therefore, if we have a currency that we can trade and translate into any currency because of the prime backing that it has there, then we have a continental currency for the open market, and still we have the sovereign currencies of the different countries. And with that, can you imagine Africa, where you do not have people living in huts when they can have something? It can be traditional still, but it can be something great and better. We have an Africa that is already having structures in place in terms of the weather changes that is coming. We have an Africa where we can implement farm, where we can see that ecotech and all of these things are there, where we can see that we have the very best of technology in Africa for the African people, but not against the African and the community here, because Africa will then own it and has more control of it. And that is so important, because we must control our future as Africa. And yes, can you absolutely imagine if we can get the cars off the road and we have a transport system that can go from any corner of South Africa from mid-air, the skyway transport system. So Africa may be behind in terms of technology, but absolutely will be in front in terms of development and our ecosystem development, ecosystem, transportation, alternative energy. All of that is what we are ready as the Eco 6 community to see prepared and paid for Africa. And therefore, with that, it gives the African people and the African governments the opportunity now to really see how can they now take care of Africa in a better way, with having all of the tools to now do it, and now having the yoke of the debt off the back of Africa. I'm very passionate about this, so yes, I can go on for hours.
Your Imperial Majesty, Queen Sheba III, it really has been great talking to you. It sounds very exciting, and we certainly hope that we can start to see this vision unfolding, and that the whole of Africa embraces this idea. Thank you so much indeed for bringing it to us, and let's hope that it can start to flourish. Thank you so much.